Hi, this is Andrew for Geek News Central, and this afternoon we're going to be taking a look at the brand new OnePlus Nord CE 5G Android smartphone. So this will be joining OnePlus's existing range of Nord phones, which start at the entry-level N100 and go all the way up to the Nord in the mid-range. My understanding is this will be priced slightly below the Nord, but we're still expecting it to give the value for money that we expect from OnePlus. So without much further discussion, we're going to get this unboxed. This is the, if you like, the PR packaging. This isn't the retail packaging, but the phone will be inside, and then we'll take a look at that and see what it offers at that price point. So if you'd like to hold on, we'll get this unboxed. Okay, so we've got the box on the desk now, and as I said, this is the PR packaging, but let's get this open and see what's inside. Okay, so it looks like we've got the Nord itself, which has this nice kind of shimmer on the box, and I'm going to guess that these are going to be a selection of cases. Sure enough, so we've got a blue one. Hopefully you can see they're a bit shiny. There's a blue one. It's kind of like a grey one, and you kind of see they've got these gold specks through. Kind of pale one. I'm not quite too sure about that one. And we've got a mauve one. Excellent. We'll look at those in more detail in a minute. So here's the phone itself. I'm going to have to cut this open. So the Nord, this new Nord CE 5G. People with long memories will be pleased to know that Pete Lau, the CEO, has come out and said that CE stands for Core Edition. There's no reflection on a certain older product, which wasn't very well received. And what I'm also told is that there's going to be three colours. There's Blue Void, Charcoal Ink, and Silver Ray. And just taking a guess from the edge here, you might not be able to see it. I think this is going to be the Blue Void one. So let's see if we can get it out of the box. There we go. Let's see what else is in here just whilst we're at it. Okay, so you've got your warp charging. The phone does support the 30T, which will give you, if I remember, I think it goes from 0 to 70% in 30 minutes. I'll have to double check that later. And it looks like there's going to be a soft bumper case here as well. There's presumably going to be a bit of bump and brochures and manuals in there. We can check those out later as well. But let's take a look at the main event, as they say. I'm going to check out the phone. Okay, let's get it out so it's straight part. So that feels pretty good actually. I'm just going to pause the video for a second because I know that there's the IMEI on the back, so we don't want to disclose that. Okay, so we've got the black phone. We've got it looks like a single camera there. I don't know if you can quite see it, just try to get it. And then around the back we've got a triple shooter. So what I do know is, and what's also written there, is that the main camera is a 64 megapixel unit. We've then got an ultra wide lens, takes up to 118 degrees, 119 degrees, 8 megapixels, and then there's a couple of those kind of 2 megapixel mono cameras. It's quite a nice colour. Not actually quite too sure what the material is on the back, but you just get that little hint of the colour there. That looks really good. So it's a 6.4 inch screen, if I remember, and it has quite a high resolution. Yeah, it's 2400 by 1080 with an aspect ratio of 10 to 9, and it has the 90 Hertz refresh rate. So let's see if there's any juice in here. I'm just hoping there is. If not, I'll have to charge it and then come back. Oh, there we go. So it's going to start up. In terms of the processor and the RAM, we've got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 750G, and as you'll guess from the title of or the name of the branding of the phone, it supports 5G. In terms of RAM and storage, there are a range of options. The minimum storage within the Nord is 6 gigabytes. Sorry, 6 gigabytes, and it goes through 6 gigs, 8 gigs, and 12 gigs. And there is storage is either 128 or 256. So there's plenty of storage there for videos and music and extra apps and all those kinds of things. So I'm just going to kind of start going through this. We will obviously get to a point where I have to put in passwords and things, so we'll perhaps have to take those off camera. Okay, so I don't have my SIM cards just to hand at the moment, so I'm just going to skip over that and we'll connect up to the Wi-Fi. So I'm just going to do this. Now this is the point where I have to take it off screen. Okay, so I've stuck in my password and it's now obviously chuntering away. As you can kind of see from the top here in the terms of the icons, it is a dual SIM device, which is pretty much standard for OnePlus these days. And we also, by the looks of it, have NFC, which is great as well on a phone at this price point. Now there's another kind of thing I've been keeping slightly secret. On the bottom here we have the return of the headphone jack, so which I think is pretty handy. It's great for people with wired headphones. I mean, my daughter prefers wired headphones over the Bluetooth style because she's forever losing them, and at least if it's connected to a phone she can't lose it. As you'd expect, we've got the USB-C here as well. Okay, and we've got the power button here. Nothing really on the top here, but do look at that lovely colour there. And then we've got the volume up and down buttons here. No mute slider, regrettably, on these ones. You'll have to pay extra to get the OnePlus 9 series if you want the slider. Okay, so look, I'm just going to skip over some of these. Again, we will probably get to a point where I have to put in my username and password, which we will skip up. So I don't think we're just going to start it fresh. Complete. Okay, so looks like we've got some of the live wallpapers that they've had on some of the other OnePlus phones. Looks pretty good, and I'm sure we've got the usual selection of apps. Yeah, okay. So it talks about the switch layout. I mean, again, one of the great things I like about OnePlus is they really do keep the cruft to a minimum. We've got the basic feature set with a few specific OnePlus apps like the community and the OnePlus Switch. OnePlus Switch is actually quite good. It allows you to transfer your settings from one OnePlus phone to another OnePlus phone with the minimum of fuss. It's good. Okay, though we do have YT music, which replaces obviously Google Play Music, but I never think YouTube's got a particularly good brand name. But there we go, that's me. Okay, so it's downloading a few more apps. Looks like also there is a new system update required. So what I'll do is I'll kick that off and let it do that, and then maybe after a while I'll have a replay. We'll come back and maybe download GeekBench and see how fast it goes in comparison with some of the other OnePlus phones. Okay, so we will leave it to download, and we will also leave it to download the operating system update as well. So this is Andrew for Geek News Central, signing off just for now. The OnePlus CE 5G comes with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 750G CPU paired with an Adreno 619 GPU. Now those chipsets aren't unknown to us, they've been out in the market for a while, so there's plenty of phones out there with that chipset. There's also competing phones from other, shall I say, other manufacturers that use other chipsets. So what we're going to do is we're going to use GeekBench 5 to run some CPU benchmarks, and then we'll take a look at the result and see what else is out there of a comparable standard. So I'm going to kick it off, and then we shall come back in a bit and see what it's like. So GeekBench 5 has finished, and we can see that the CE 5G scored 336 in the single core and 1827 in the multi-core. So let's see what that compares with. So at 636, we're very much in show me territory apparently. We've got the Redmi K20, we've got the 90 Pro, we're well above the Galaxy A71 at 500, and we're a little bit below the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, which uses one of Samsung's chips, the Exynos 990. In terms of multi-core, probably going to be something similar. Let's scroll down. So we're at 8097, so a little bit above the Pocophone F1, but for whatever reason Geekbench 5 isn't showing very much between the K20 and the Pocophone F1. So a little bit disappointing there in terms of what it's showing us, but you get an idea now of the performance of the CE 5G. So I'm just having a look at Geekbench online, and in addition to the phones that I mentioned there, phones that would be around the 636 score will be things like the Google Pixel 4, the Google Pixel 4 XL, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Lite. So you can kind of see where it's sitting in the market. Okay, so you might want to know how well the Nord CE 5G works with Fortnite, and the answer is not too bad. There are a few times somebody is shooting at me, that's always the way. I haven't just started the game, but one of the things I would say is that there are a few times when it just gets things get going a bit too fast for it. So I'm going to see if I can get some weaponry before I get completely stuffed. So you can kind of see there that it sometimes takes a moment to catch up. Oops. Hi folks, and we're back with the OnePlus Nord CE 5G, and right now we're going to look. I was about to look at battery charging. Just to fill you in, the Nord comes with a 4,500 mAh battery, and it comes with OnePlus's famous warp charge. In this particular phone, it will charge the phone from effectively from nothing through to about 70%. 70% is what they're saying, in half an hour. So we've got the charger here, we've got the cable here. We did have the phone just turned on there to get it charged up. It's charged. It's actually just shut itself off because it was at 1% power. So what we'll do is we'll plug it in, we'll get it started, and then we'll come back in half an hour to see how it's getting on. Okay, I'm going to plug this in. So back in a sec. Okay, so I have the warp charger plugged in. I'm just hopefully waiting for this to tick over to 1217. And then we'll plug it in and we will give it, there it goes, and we will give it its 30 minutes. So that's going to start charging. I don't know whether it'll give us oh, there we go. So we will come back in 30 minutes. So 30 minutes from 1217, doing the maths in his head, means that we should just be here at 1247 to see how far it's got. Okay, this is Andrew, back soon. Well, we're back with the Nord CE 5G. As you can see here, it's 1256 or 1246 rather, and hopefully if we can just turn this on, we're at 63%, so a little bit behind the expected 70%. See what it actually gets to when it hits, well, that's 1247, we're at 63%, a little bit behind. So it's not far off the 70% that OnePlus would say you'd expect, and certainly, you know, if we leave it to run, it'll very rapidly charge up. Hi there, for those who are interested, it took an extra 4 minutes, 12:51. So it's just gone over to 71% to get to that 70%. So an extra 3 to 4 minutes to hit the target. Not too bad. Okay, thanks very much. I've been using the OnePlus Nord CE 5G for a couple of weeks now, and it was only really yesterday that I had to take the SIM out of it in order to start reviewing another phone. And overall, I think this is a great little phone. It really ticks all the boxes, or the vast majority of the boxes that you'd expect, with very little downsides. And I think, from my point of view, what really I think people will appreciate is that it has a lot of what you might call curb appeal. So it's a thin phone, it's relatively lightweight, it has this lovely colour on the background, this blue void, which has some, you can kind of see this blue effect on the side. It has if you like, in terms of specs, it has a 64 megapixel camera, but in terms of reality, it's a camera that works well, particularly with, I found, with, if you like, relatively close-up shots and group shots and things like that. It retains the headphone jack at the bottom, whilst still having things like USB-C. It does have this nice screen. It has the 2400 by 1080 pixels, so you're getting your screen density of about 410, and there's just some nice little things. So I know this is it's just trivial, but I do like the way the live backgrounds respond when you turn the phone on or log onto the phone and things like that. So overall, I think it is a nice little package. You get all the features that you'd expect from OnePlus, so it's a relatively light skin of Android, but you do have some of the features, like you have things like the hidden space over at when you swipe up and then swipe across, so you can have your hidden apps, as they call it, over there. And then within things like control panel, you do have the special customizations for the OnePlus phone, and things like you can adjust, although I didn't mention this, you do have the 90 Hertz refresh rate on the screen. And I think, as you can see, as I move around the phone, he says having to tap that bit twice, everything really is quite snappy and moves along nicely. So behind the scenes, we've got that Qualcomm 750G chipset, and things move along nicely. I did do a demo earlier of Fortnite, which works well. I'm not going to do it again here, but you can kind of see here with Pokemon Go. I know there's not much going on here, just because there's no Pokestops near me, but it is all very responsive, and you can kind of see things happening pretty quickly. So performance-wise, works great. Screen-wise, works great. In terms of things like the cameras, as I said, so what I found was that you've got your 64 megapixel main camera. I'm not sure if these are them, but you've got these three cameras. You've got your 64 megapixel main camera, you've got the ultra wide camera at 8 megapixels with the the 120 degree field of view, and then you've got I think it's a 2 megapixel black and white camera that is used for things like depth sensing and stuff like that. And then around the front, you've got your 16 megapixel selfie camera. So all work well. Now, in terms of photos, I'm just going to take a moment to find the ones that I took. I'll go into the gallery. There it is there. Now let me just take a moment to find the one that I would like to show you. Now, I did think that the photos look good, so in this particular one, I thought that this was I really liked this photo. This is one that I obviously took. I thought it was a good rendition. You got a nice black and white and things like that. And then where I did think there were some problems, and if I just rotate this around, this is obviously one taken with the ultra wide lens. Come on, rotate. Have I got rotation turned off? Yep, that'll be why. So, but what I do think, and I don't know how easy to say, you're kind of getting at the edge of the frame, and I know this, you do get this distortion on some of these ultra wide shots, but you can kind of see there's this kind of rushing, I don't know if people call it rushing, but it's like stretching, such elongation of the thing, which I thought let the camera down. I mean, if you're talking about the middle of the picture, it was great, absolutely fantastic. And as you can kind of see, you get some really good photos. Just flicking through some of these, nice one. There's a wee dog, and again, I thought that if you zoom in on some of these, the definition really is quite good. And sorry, I know there's a few reflections on the screen just from me and things. So yeah, so I thought that was good. In other features, well, we've got the 4,500 milliamp hour battery. We've got the Warp Charge 30 that comes with this, so that should, if I remember, charge it. And I always forget this. 0 to 70, I think 0 to 70% in 30 minutes. I think when we tested it earlier, it didn't quite get there within the 30 minutes, but it wasn't far off. So I think we'll give them a buy for that. You could argue that this is a phone for geeks, and not geeks, for fans of OnePlus, but it's not. I mean, this phone works well for everyone. I know Pete Lau was talking about this, the consumer edition being the one for the fans, but no, I think it has features to recommend it to anyone who's looking for a phone at this price point. In terms of price point, it's 299, if you like, GB pounds for the 8 gig and 128 gigabytes worth of storage version, and it's £369 if you want to bump that up to the 12 gigs of RAM with the 256 gigs of storage. So, I mean, I think that's a fair price point for what you're getting here. Yep, I mean, it's comparable with other phones on the market, and there are other phones on the market, don't get me wrong. In other features, I got sent some of the cases, and I did have a chat with my daughter as to which case she preferred, and definitely the purple one came out. I mean, these cases with the Flexum, they're an interesting idea. I think it would be nicer if there was a bit more sparkle to them, shall we say. It might be more appealing. And sadly, I think the beige one here, or whatever you want to call it, it reminds me all too much of a dish rack that I once had in my kitchen. So those are the phones, and you do get, there is a clear one that does come in the box. I've realised. A clear one does come in the box as well, so if you want to show off that lovely blue back, you can. There are other colours. There is a charcoal ink and also a silver ray, but personally I do think that the blue void is the one to get. Well, look, I think that probably wraps it up now for the Nord CE 5G. As I said, it's a good little phone, definitely worthy of your consideration if you're in the market for this, and take a look at it. So this is Andrew for Geek News Central, signing off with the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. Thanks very much.